Hi everyone, LaToya here. Welcome to my crafty space. I'm going to share yet another Christmas card project with you guys today. I am absolutely loving all of the Christmas cards that I'm creating for 2023. This is the year where I've been more organized. I've vetted my stash. I am just living in what I have, and when I am letting some items into my space, they are being vetted thoroughly to make sure I'm not wasting money or wasting time. Right. We're going to get right into what I created. I gave a little peek in my YouTube short earlier with a little heat embossing video that I shared. So this here is my make. You guys, is this not the cutest thing ever? I am just so excited. I'm so excited. My mojo is just doing so well lately. All right, I am now going to go through all of the items that I used to create this card and put it together with you guys. Okay. Now, if you're new to my channel, hi. If you're not new to my channel, hi. And thank you for watching. I 1000% appreciate it. It's so nice to be a part of a community where individuals also like to just, sneak away and watch some crafty happiness, watch someone share things that they love. Completely appreciate you guys watching and liking. So when I first create a project, what I like to do is I like to think, what is this card for? So this card is a Christmas card. I already knew I wanted to make a holiday Christmas themed card because it's my favorite holiday. Okay, so with that theme in mind and out of the way, I then thought, do I have a layout to work with for my card? For this card, I had no layout in mind, so I decided to let the items that I choose to use for this card dictate where this card goes. Now, sometimes that doesn't quite work. Sometimes you just need to have a layout in mind beforehand, or as you're creating, you can then look up different layouts and see what suits the items you want to use. And sometimes you can't use all the items that you want to use on a card. That's something I've had to learn as a card maker. You can't use everything, you can't have everything. Yeah, all those things are absolutely normal and you are sane and fine. And card making just becomes a lot easier when you restrict yourself a little bit. Alrighty, so for this card, like I said, Christmas, no layout in mind. I do love making A2 size cards, just so you guys know. For this card, I did have this gingerbread man already done. Let me get a good back for this. We can just use this here. So weeks ago when I started making some Christmas cards, I took out my Simon Says Stamp Merry and Sweet 2022 Tag Kit. Using this kit here, I took out this die. This die is fantastic. This die was intended to make a gingerbread tag. Now, I do not like making tags. Like I just said, I like to make A2 size cards. So this little notch here, that was to create a hole, and the gingerbread man, I actually ripped off. Now, that did leave this slight piece here that creates an indentation when you run this die through cardstock. This cardstock here is a piece of crumb cake by Stampin' Up. In addition to getting this great body for this gingerbread man, you also got these pieces which create the frosting that goes on him and some buttons. So I went ahead and did those in white. Now, I didn't affix the buttons and the other embellishments until after I ink blended him. I ended up taking out my crumb cake ink by Stampin' Up and my blending brush by Tailored Expression, and I just held him down, took my brush, and I just blended until I got him nice and toasty to where he looked like he came out of the oven. Does he not look like the cutest thing ever? The next thing I did was I ended up stamping on an adorable face. Now this face is from the Peachy Keen Stamps. This is the Jill's Favorite stamp set. This stamp set has an array of sizes with different facial expressions. I absolutely love this set here. The cutest face on this little guy, and I did heat embossing, so you can kind of see the shine there. I did that after I did the ink blending. So this is my completed gingerbread man. Absolutely love him. What I decided to do after I knew that I wanted to use him was I wanted to take out my favorite stamp and create a background. I do not like to buy pattern paper. I do not have space for it. and even when, you know, I decide to move in the future, I still want to keep my craft space nice, small, and tidy. I do not want to become overwhelmed with product, which is why I don't purchase certain things. For instance, I don't have a better press machine. I don't do hot foiling. I literally have stamps, solid cardstock. I do some heat embossing. I do dry embossing. I do Copic coloring and ink blending, and that's kind of it. I'm not one for jumping onto trends and such. If there is a technique that I feel like I definitely need in my craft life, I will give it a whirl. But so far, like the things I just mentioned, I've never embarked on any of those. I haven't seen a need for it. I've been quite content with what I have, so that saves me money. Now with pattern paper, the other thing is, aside from space, it takes up time. And also, in regards to space, I don't like parting with things, so I know I would hoard it because I wouldn't want to get rid of it or use it because I would be sad that it's gone. And it'll take away money from me buying stamps. I can use stamps and dies to create backgrounds and be happy. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some absolutely beautiful pattern paper out there. I just cannot allow myself to purchase it because I will have problems. So, yeah. Anyhow, I went through my collection of background stamps, and I have this grunge stamp by I.O. This is how it looks. I just stamped this in crumb cake also, and it's fine if there's a mark because I'm not going to see any of that. And I just thought this was the cutest thing ever. I thought it would look great with my gingerbread man, and it absolutely does. From there, I knew I needed a color that reminded me of Christmas, however, and that's where I brought in this absolutely beautiful green. And this is my last piece of cardstock, this color. I know it's by Basil, I just don't know the name of it. Once I layered that underneath, I was in love. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And just looking at it now, I'm so happy I chose that color. Now, this piece here that I also decided to matte, that was an afterthought. So when my card was like 98% completed, I was like, you know, I need to stamp out another background piece to house him on top of. So that's where this came into play. So this piece here also has a layering piece with a green just underneath for him to live on top of. And I was like, oh, that's really cute. I really like that. But staring at this card, I'm like, okay, I need more. I have a lot of, I'd say images. I guess the grunge is considered an image. I knew I needed some sentiments and beyond just one sentiment. So I went through my stash and I'm gonna cover that up. I saw this Elle Studio Christmas tab stamp set, which you guys, I love, love, love the sentiments. Look at this. The font on these sentiments, it's spectacular. It literally is like my favorite. So when I saw this online, I could not buy this fast enough. And these little tabs here are so cute. This is my favorite tab. You also might notice this hot cocoa and tab look familiar if you watched my last Christmas video. That's because these two items, this is the set it's from. Okay, so what I did was I wanted to create a simple background with sentiments. So I took out these words here, and you can see them. So I took out holiday treats, Merry Christmas, tradition, gingerbread house, homemade, milk and cookies. These are just the best words to sum up the holiday. They're just absolutely perfect. So I took my Misty here and I put the sentiments down. I just created a row, my first row, my second row. I took my piece of cardstock and all I did was stamp and then move my cardstock up, stamp again, move my cardstock up. Obviously I worked further down here and I really liked how that looked. Now this might be simple to someone, but to me, I was absolutely tickled when I created this. Once I put that down, I was like, okay, I like how that looks. I still need something more. And then I was thinking maybe some images and something smaller than my gingerbread man here. So I ended up finding these stamps. This stamp set here, it just brings back such good memories. I purchased like all of the leading lady stamp sets that I wanted all at one time after I got my first job as an LPN because I had worked so incredibly hard. I absolutely deserved it. Now, this stamp set here, it is so cute. All of these images are right up my alley. Like I said, I don't bake and such in real life. I'd rather cook real meals. I don't know why I say baking like it's always just baked goods, but You know what I mean. I'm all about real food, not just sweets and such, but in my crafty life, I love sweets and treats and all of that. So I love the images and I love the sentiments here. They're adorable. So I decided from this set I was going to use this point because it would bring in some of that green, and I can obviously color the leaves green and absolutely beautiful. And the berries, I can make those a nice deep red. I came across this set here, and this is the Hero Arts. This is called Santa Snacks Stamp and Cut. It's a funny set. I think it was like on clearance, and I was like, oh, I can use that plate and cup of milk for something one day. And what do you know? I decided to use that cup of milk. Just to in mind, I ended up taking just a scrap piece of cardstock, and you can see it was just a scrap piece. And I ended up just doing some repeat stamping, and then I just colored these images with my Copic markers. Now I'm absolutely delighted because this is my first time coloring milk, and I know that might seem silly, but when you're Copic coloring and you're still practicing, you're learning, you're not very confident, doing color combinations and trying to color things you've never colored before can be absolutely daunting. So luckily I did get it on the first try. You don't see any scraps anywhere and you don't see any mistakes. So I'm pretty happy with my 3 cups of milk and my 2 little poinsettias. I then went ahead, like you can see here, and I affixed this piece to this piece just to make it the perfect size so it can hang out in the background here. And then just like everything else, I gave it a nice little piece of green cardstock to rest upon. Now, with all of that done, I knew I needed to bring in more red for this card, and that's when I took out my ribbon here. This was just like from, I think it was Joann's or Michael's. Really cheap ribbon, just use like a 40% off coupon, and this is like 1/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to take this and place this here just to cover that part. And I absolutely love the little pop of color I have with that. It's really nice. And it's not overly textured, like I'm glad. I did have like a red and white piece of ribbon, but that was just too distracting. Now, after staring at this card, I then decided I wanted to have it on a white base. I don't know why, I just did. It's a lot of layers, but I am here for it. So everything is going to be propped up on a piece of white card base. And then I was still looking at this like, okay, something's missing. I need an actual sentiment, something that's just going to bring my whole card home. And that's when I decided to do the heat embossing. I ended up taking out this Flourishes stamp set, and you guys, I had to hunt for this. How detailed this is. I absolutely love this. All of the details with the cookies, the frosting on the cookies, the fresh baked just for you, and you can color in the baked and the for you. The font on the sentiments, like the how sweet it is, I really love how that's illustrated. I love the hey sugar. This is just absolutely adorable. The pie with the sugar, the eggs, the rolling pin. It is just so cute. And this spoon, so much detail, this apron. What does this say? So it says 2012. Yeah, I think this is from 2012. Okay, so it says 2012 on this. So that's how old this set is. And I am so happy to have this. I really hope other companies come out with something similar. I mean, obviously not like spot on, but this is the cutest thing ever. Okay, so I heat embossed the sentiment, how sweet it is here. And once I put that on, I was over the moon. I was like, okay, my card's complete. I really love that. So everything on the card has a layer of green and then white. So I decided to heat emboss in white and have that on top of the green just to change things up a bit and add more interest to the card. And that is it, you guys. These are all of the pieces that make up this card. I'm now going to assemble it. my card is complete. I am beyond tickled with what I made with the combination of products that I had in my stash. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me put this Mod Podge together. I definitely need to do a super sweet sentiment on the inside. I will also make sure I stamp one of these images here in the corner and give it a color, just so it's a very beautiful transition from the delightful outside to the inside here. But my mojo as of right now is saying you need to stop. So nothing else is occurring. I did, if someone was wondering, use like 50 different types of adhesive. It was crazy. So I did use my Bearly art glue, or yeah, Bearly. I thought I was saying it wrong. My Bearly art glue. I did use my tape runner. I did use glue dots. And I did also have to use this here, this really strong adhesive also, just because with a ribbon, you definitely want to, you know, just a tip, you definitely want to put something on it that's going to make it stick and stay flat, just because over time it can like lift up, and yeah, we don't want any of that. So you definitely want to use some tape. And taping that down just helped it become more flush and integrate with the card, but still give it a bit of texture and pop. So let me put all of these items back. Okay, so now my craft space, as you saw, it is now clean and tidy. I'm going to put all of my items away. So now when I come back to my craft space, I can just create because there is no mess. And I have another card for my Christmas card stash to either sell or give away in the next coming months. So hope you guys are inspired by my make here, and I hope you all do something crafty that makes your heart happy. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.